Morning, folks. Today's soap is brought to us by the way of Victory Shaving. This one here is called Night Raid. And let's see here, the scent profile on this one here is amber, violet, and wood. And that's what it looks like there on the inside. 4 ounces, filled all the way up to the top. At least it was before I got started with it. Excuse me. And this particular soap is no longer available. You'll have to look on the buy, sell, trade type thing in order to find a tub of this, and decide to follow up with the Stirling aftershave. This one here is called Triumph. The 2 cents, no, they don't match. This is just what I decided to go with today. And I've got it whipped up here in a fine accoutrements lathering bowl. That's what it looks like there on the inside. It is whipped up a little on the moist side, not necessarily drippy, but it is moist. This particular brush here has got a boar knot in it. Kind of see it's kind of small in size, so it makes it kind of nice for travel. I've got a link down below for this particular brush. Runs right at, I think, near the $10 mark. Comes with its own stand. Pretty inexpensive. For me, these boar brushes work well. I like them. They're fantastic little brushes. For me, when I lather up in a bowl, I swirl, so I don't really apply a whole lot of pressure. I just consistently keep on swirling and just allow it to, I guess you might say, mature, develop, at its own pace. Don't really have to scrub down in there or anything quite like that. These brushes seem to work quite well. And since I'm also a painter, as it goes for how pokey the bristles might be, I really don't notice a whole lot of it. So that's the reason why I think boar brushes work out pretty well for me. Shaver of the day. Now this one here, I'll talk more about the price range, because this one here is not an inexpensive razor. This is Blackland Sabre. This one takes the gem style blades. This one here's got the 2-dot plate. It comes with 2 different kinds. You can get, in other words, you can get the 1-dot or a 2-dot. This one here's got a 2-dot in it right now, and it for me it works out quite well. The blade in there is a gem. It's a Teflon coated, or PTFE. And I usually get these blades by the way of Ted Pella. Then when they sell these, they sell them 2 cartons. Each carton has 100 blades in it. So in other words, I buy it in bulk. And for me, when you start pricing it out, and then you start pricing out per blade, then per shave, things start to work out better than maybe if you get it in the smaller quantity, because then the price does jump up quite a bit per blade. I think per blade, at the current price, I think this works out close to 21 cents a blade. So if you get more than 1 shave, in other words, if you get 4 shaves, you can kind of see how the price will break down, and I guess you might say be comparable, maybe closer to a DE, that if you maybe only use once or twice and then you're done with it. I've already put a hot towel to the face this morning. It started with the Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements. This is the Holliday Preshave Cube. It is getting smaller, but it does take quite a while just to get down to that point. Still can smell the holiday scent. As it goes for my cube, I don't have how can you say, I don't put it in an airtight container or anything like that. It's just sitting out in the open. So kind of speaks to the scent longevity, if you will, of the pre-shave soap. Wet the soap here and get started. Back to the price of the shaver there. For me, it's a nice shaver. It's well made, lasts you a lifetime, and then some. And for me, it's a smooth shaver. For those that kind of balk at the price, and I do understand the price. Me, for the most part, I enjoy the budget shaving type gear. For me, that is just something I just really enjoy doing. I do enjoy the ones that are more, up in the upper scale, like this one here. And if you take a different look at the razor from a different point of view, in that, let's say this is more or less your daily driver. In other words, you may have a couple other razors that you may use from time to time, but in other words, you don't have 20 razors. In other words, you got a handful or less, and you plan on using this as a daily driver. When you start looking at it like that, and how how it's going to last you the rest of your life and going into the next lifetime because you're taking good care of your shaving gear. You start breaking down the price over the years. You might, guess you might say, take a different view on a razor that costs, near the $200 mark. Well, if you're spreading it over 20, 40 years or whatever the case might be, the price does start to drop down, and you still got a fine piece of shaving gear. So if you look at it from that point of view, get past that initial price shock, if you will, things start to look a bit different. And you, like I say, you got a piece of equipment there that's going to last you the rest of your lifetime. So, and it stays, how can you say, in great condition. Made out of stainless steel. Even if you were to opt for one, in other words, not necessarily Blackland, but any other razor that, let's say, that's made out of aluminum, that might be towards $100 range. For some folks, that's still a little bit on the steep side. But if you, take a different view of the pricing and the longevity of the razor and what you're actually getting, get past that initial sticker shock, you got a piece of equipment that's going to last you a good long while. Losing a bristle here. Man, the scent on this is pretty nice. It works well for my nose. It's pleasant to my nose as it goes to what do I smell? Do I pick up any one particular scent? Maybe the violet is what I first notice. Then maybe the wood. Don't really notice the amber, and then maybe it's just because of my nose. In other words, not anything to do with this soap itself. It probably has more to do with my nose. Now the 2-dot plate works well for me. I don't find it overly aggressive, but I don't find it, how you say, too mild either. It's that, that sweet spot where there is a blade feel. But I'm still able to get smooth shaves with it. I do enjoy it. But like I said, it is not cheap. And for some folks trying to get past that initial price shock, it may take a while to get to that point where you're thinking more long term. I'm not going to have a whole bunch of shave gear in the den, and wanting something that's going to last you a good long while. In other words, that's when this sort of thing comes into play, where it seems to be a bit more feasible, if you will. A little bit easier to get past that price point. It is a nice shaver. This one here came to me, by the way. Stephen Sprague sent this one to me, and I tell you what, it's a fine piece of shaving gear. So when you go to start thinking, in other words, getting further up on the price scale, might be something to factor in, is how long do you plan on hanging on to this piece of shaving gear? And if you decide it's not for you, it's not like you're not going to get most of your money back, if not all of it, depending on if they ever decide to stop making it. It's kind of like the Blackland Dart. It's no longer being made, and the going price was like at $100. I really like it. It's not exactly on the mild side of things. To me, it points more towards the medium, upwards towards the aggressive side of things. I think it's a fine shaver. I really like it. It's well made. It's definitely going to last the rest of my lifetime going into the next. Really nice shaver. But even at that price point, depending on where you are with your budget, $100 is might have been a little bit tough to get by that price point. But considering that thing is going to last such a long time, it was an awesome buy. Fantastic in my opinion, especially if you enjoy the shaves that you get with it. For some folks, it might have been a touch too aggressive. But for me, it works out great. I think it also would work well for somebody that is even a shaver like this one here, if you're shaving every other day. considering how efficient this one is. It'd be a great shaver for somebody that shaves every other day. I mean, I shave every day and I'm quite alright with it, but even for somebody that's going to be shaving every other day, this one here, as well as the dart, I think might be right up your alley. As it goes for videos too, there are plenty of videos out there with this shaver. I mean, it's fairly popular. Which might speak to how well it's made, as well as hitting the sweet spot for a number of shavers. It is something to give it some thought to. The more you see them, the more that you might think that there's a number of people that appreciate it. It is one of those things, though, that for some, that you might want to give some thought. It's easy to fall down the rabbit hole with all the different shavers out there, but if you really like using gem blades, this one here just might be what you're looking for. I do enjoy the vintage shavers. I should mention that use gem blades, but as it goes for looking for something that's modern, how can you say not well used, 50 plus years old, we're seeing some action, and the ones I'm referring to there is the gem micromatic. Pick which one that that you like or have seen that you're interested in. Those shavers are like bulletproof. They seem to be quite durable. But I can understand for some folks, vintage is just not their thing. They're looking for something more modern, and this one here could just be what you're looking for. As it goes for my lather, I was going to mention this earlier. Got sidetracked with the razor. My lather, this is the lather that works well for me. And you definitely should whip up the lather and use one that works best for you. If this lather works great for you, that's awesome. But for some folks, this may not work well for them. For me, it's awesome. I've early on, I had tried different styles of lather, if you will, and discovered for me that this one here works just fine for me. I know it may not look the fluffiest on the camera, but I don't need fluffy. I need something that's wet. As it goes for blades, this one here, like I say, this one's Teflon coated. There's also one that is not Teflon coated. This is stainless steel. There is a carbon one that's referred to as POW, and it'll be 3-faceted. In other words, it's made to shave with, if you will. And the blade itself will be like black in color. It'll be a dark color. And then the spine will be, I think, you remember right, I think it's aluminum, the spine is, as opposed to steel. I could be wrong. I can't remember for sure. Now, some folks like those blades. I've tried them. They do not work well for me. Not usable. I tried, and as a matter of fact, I had some. I tried to use them, and they just don't work well for me. It just, This is the blade that works well for me. This one here, as well as the Treat Supers. Treat Supers was the first ones that I ran across that worked well. Typically, you will see them like in a green package, cardboard. Matter of fact, the little box that they're in is actually part of the backing of the, I guess you might say, the display, if you will, the packaging. And those were the first ones I found that worked well for me. In between those and these here, those are the blades that works best for me. But just in case you kind of knew this sort of thing, the POW Carbon could be one that works for some folks. I know some folks really like them. I just can't use them. they don't work well at all for me. I guess that has a lot to do, in my opinion, with the, I guess you might say, the skin and beard type that I have. It just doesn't work well. But I've seen, folks that use them shave just fine with them. No nicks, cuts, weepers, anything of the sort. Looks smooth, comfortable shave, but for me, no, not comfortable at all. Ted Pella, if you take a moment and look at their website, go lather way up there. Um, they do have several different blades to be looking at, and the ones that you want to look for that'll, I guess you might say, works best for shaving, at least in my opinion, my experience, is you want to look for the ones that are 3-facet as opposed to 2-facet. About ready to sneeze. The 2-facet blades are more for, I guess you might say, other things. Might be considered the industrial blade for scraping or something else other than shaving. Unscented witch hazel, mentholated here. You want the 3-facet. That's the one you're looking for. And for me, I also look for the PTFE wording in there. That's the abbreviation basically for Teflon. And then you got me sold at that point. And as far as I know, the carbon ones are not Teflon coated. I think that might be I guess you might say, the point, that the Teflon coating on these blades is what makes a difference for me. As well, of course, stainless steel. There is even with straight razors, when this carbon, when the stainless steel, they do feel different when they shave. That's been my experience with them. Like, I've got the links down below for all this stuff. If you're looking for like the scent profile and so on and so forth, I've got this down below. This is one of my scents that I do gravitate to when I'm just going to mix and match the way that I just prefer the day. It's what the restrictor looks like. They have this in the full-size containers nowadays. I got this early on. This one's just a 2-ounce size. I do like these little bottles in green. Pretty cool. This scent is really nice. I don't know. It could, for me, I don't find this scent offensive, and I don't know that most people would find it offensive. In other words, I think this would be pleasant for most folks' nose. It smells good to me. I need to get another bottle because that's the only one I got. I had a great shave today. Hope everybody's doing well. Today is Monday. Hope it goes well for you. Stay healthy, stay safe, and smooth shaves to you.